Working hard to make the world great for all dogs. It's the Digger Digger Doggos podcast.
Hey everybody! Yuki!
Yay!
Ceylon!
Hi!
Hey everybody, so here we are. Oh my gosh, it's podcast episode number 6, which is really, really, really exciting. And before we get too deep into the podcast, you will probably remember this beautiful lady sitting in between the two of us. We're so happy to have you back, Ceylon. Thanks for braving the freeways to get to us.
No problem. Glad to be here.
You made it. Woo woo.
A little
Anyway,
late.
it's okay. Hey, we're waiting for you, and we would have waited for you as long as it took. So we're grateful for you to be here. So let's get started. As you know, if you've been following Digger Digger Doggos, we always like to start with something to drink. And it looks like we have several things to drink today. I'm not sure why. Maybe because we're easing into spring and it's warm weather here in SoCal. So Yuki,
Yes.
what are we drinking?
Oh, we're drinking this yellow stuff here.
Well,
It's
yellow
not tea.
stuff,
It's
I was
called
gonna say.
Caravella. It's a lemon drink.
Okay, I think one of our
Yes.
producers has supplied us with this, so let's see how we do after a shot of that. All right.
I heard it's a little sweet.
Okay.
A little?
I don't do a lot of sweets. Ceylon, have you had this before?
This is yours,
No.
Sarah.
Thank you.
Limoncello. You drink this when you're at an Italian restaurant, Italian festival. You've never
It was
had
good
it?
with pasta. Yeah.
I've never had it.
Good with
Okay.
pasta.
And I looked it up actually, so there's a lot of ways you can toast with limoncello, but one of them.
Buttercup wants some.
Oh, she would.
Look at her.
Buttercups, I'll take a
I
sip
was
of that.
like, oh, it smells really refreshing. Yeah, so.
So we're gonna toast to, one of the toast is for the love of lemons. Chin
Cheers.
chin!
Cheers.
Thank you
Cheers.
guys! So excited!
Yay. Good for the throat.
Whoop! Drink it down, Yuki.
All right.
Delicious.
Reminds me of a lemon head,
Interesting.
but more.
Excuse me. What?
More alcohol than in a
Oh,
lemon.
yeah. I taste the vodka now.
Is it
The
I
vodka?
don't know what it is.
Ooh.
Well, we're not gonna drink too much of that because everybody will be.
I
Even
taste
though
the burning.
to all of our Italians out there, we do love limoncello. So at some point, Yuki's gonna pop open. What else do we have, Yuki? And this is what we'll be
yes.
sipping on.
This is my favorite. It's the Gallibat Bubbly Rosé.
Yeah, Scout and Cellar. We do love our Scout and Cellar
There's
wine.
no added sugar, no food coloring.
Clean crafted, keto friendly.
Yes, it's clean. Doesn't give you a stomach ache. Doesn't give you a hangover, and you should drink it fresh.
And
So,
drink it all.
I definitely recommend this brand
The
from
whole
Scott
bottle.
Cellar. And I really like it because, like I said, I feel great after I drink it the next day. So it goes
The whole bottle,
long ways.
Well, why don't you go ahead and pop that open, Yuki,
And
then we'll
this
get
one's
started.
hard to find.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yuki, while you're doing that, I don't know, can you pop a bottle and talk about what's been going on in your life the past several weeks?
Yeah, I'm getting. Let's see, I got a motorcycle.
Yeah,
And
you
I'm
did.
gonna ride that. I mean, I used to ride a long time ago, but I'm gonna get back into it.
Okay, that's exciting.
Yes, I think it'll do me a lot of good, actually. It's good for balance, good for mental clarity, because it makes you think all the time while you're on top of the bike, of course. It's good exercise, because you use your legs and your arms to maneuver the bike, especially at low speed. So I'm looking forward to all those things as a benefit. And plus you get to go out and go down the road and leave everything behind. Yeah.
You got a new building in the back of the Foster house, and the Digger Digger Doggos
Especially the soaker
have some more
tub.
space.
It's like a spa in my bathroom. It does have a soaker tub, and it lets natural sunlight come in and hit it because I have a sunroof on the top. And
Oh.
yeah, it's great.
You can find Yuki at night around 11 p.m. I mean, I haven't personally seen him, but sipping on tequila and taking a bubble
If
bath.
people want to borrow it, I charge $10 an hour.
Oh, really?
Oh, last time we did a podcast, it was free.
Oh no,
He's trying to pay off the ADU. And then Ceylon, while you're getting a refresher on your cocktail, what's been going on with you, my friend? Tell as little or as much as you would like.
Well,
Excuse me
since
for
the last
reaching.
time I've been here, I went through radiation. So don't want to make the whole podcast.
Well, you look beautiful, and we're happy
So
to have you. So
I
you're
was-
doing great.
Diagnosed with lymphoma stage 2 E. Went through 14 rounds of radiation. No,
Oh.
12 rounds of radiation.
Okay.
I don't know, 14 or 12, something along. I'm done. I have another PET scan next month, and I should be in the clear supposedly. So thankful to be here, and thankful to be eating again.
Yeah, and drinking it.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
drinking.
cheers and God's blessing on you and your health for sure.
Thank
Praying
you.
for you always,
Definitely.
my friend. Yeah. And we're so happy to have you. You are such a bright light in the world.
A
Thank
wonderful
you.
person who fosters, takes care of cats and dogs,
Oh, I
And
know.
caters.
and caters great food, which I still love to eat.
Yeah,
We all love to eat.
we do love to
Yes.
eat.
That's the sad part.
Alrighty. Yeah, I was gonna say Yuki drives out to your place every Thursday for food.
He does.
Mhm.
Yeah, tried and true. So what's going on with me? You know what? I don't know what's been going on with me. It's been a little mellow. Actually, no, it's not. I take that back. So it's been a very expensive month. I forgot about all this. I did have to take one of my dogs. I forgot. Buddy to the vet. He's probably my oldest dog. I would say Buddy's 14 years old, and he lived with the family for the very first. Well, he was in a shelter. I think he was really abused, like really abused, because if you even go to put a blanket on him at night, he will jump up. But I also think he's losing some of his eyesight, and his hearing is going as well. But anyway, so he was adopted initially, and then the person that adopted him didn't want him, and then a friend of mine took him in, and then I wound up taking him in, and I think I've had him for about 2 years. But he was peeing blood, and so I did have to take him to my vet. But it was good because we got blood work done, and we got medication for him, and he's doing okay. So that's always stressful when one of your dogs
Did
is
they
not.
diagnose him with anything?
You know what, they didn't, and we actually did a sonogram because I was doing my own research because I thought, well, it could possibly be a tumor. And so when they did the sonogram, they said like a tumor would be in the front or the back of the body, like that's kind of where a tumor starts and grows. And he did not have a tumor, but there's something in like the middle of like his stomach that is starting to grow. The vet wasn't sure what it was. So he's taking pain medication, he's taking antibiotics. He's actually doing well.
With his age, there's only so much you could do.
Well,
for
that's
him,
the
too.
thing. And,
Yeah.
you know, and
You
we're-
just want to make sure he's comfortable. That's the thing.
And I do think he was probably in some pain, but it happened really quickly. Like I went into my room and I saw some blood, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then I saw him using the restroom, and I realized it was him. And so actually my dog Peanut, who's over there, was supposed to be going to the vet, and I wound up taking Buddy instead. So those things are stressful, but you're right. It's like when they get to a certain age, and I think it's great that we're even like talking about this right now, because as we go into
It's
talking
quality
about
life
dog
over-
insurance,
yeah.
right? Like what does insurance cover? What do they not, especially when dogs are older? But you're right, quality of life. So he's doing great now. That was a little stressful, but other than that, you know, things are good. I actually went to the, I don't really go out at all anymore, but I went Saturday night to the Hermosa Beach Comedy and Magic Club.
Oh,
Have you guys ever been?
no.
No.
It was 10 comics, and it started, my friend was like, do we want to go to the 6 or the 8 show? And my other friend and I were like, 6 p.m. please. Like, I'm in my pajamas at 8:30 at night. It was so much fun though. Almost,
Just 'cause you're not even that much older than me.
I don't know. I just like, I like to relax now. But anyway, so that was kind of fun to get out and, you know, and see some comics and laugh. But other than that, you know, it's just a one day at a time thing. And
The U.S. still has a major case of French bulldog fever, but a very different breed is staunchly chasing dog lovers' hearts. According to American Kennel Club, statistics released Wednesday, Frenchies are followed by Labrador retrievers, golden retrievers, German shepherds, poodles, and some other longtime favorites. But they said that the Cane Corso is actually 14th, and it moved up the list from 50.
Kanye Corso.
It's because they're so low maintenance and no energy dog.
Yes, I mean, can you guys still believe that the French Bulldog is the #1 dog that people own and still want?
It's also the most expensive breed for dog insurance.
Yeah, we're going to talk
Yes.
about that. You are correct about that. And then I do have a little video because I love this second breed. And it's interesting though with the French Bulldogs because a lot of rescues now are like full with French Bulldogs. Like people are now giving them up. They realize how much maintenance they are, you know, the challenges with the breathing and things like that.
Their health issues,
Their health issues.
their
So
eye
now
issues.
where you used to like be begging somebody to get a French Bulldog, now it's like, okay, our rescues are full of them, which is another interesting thing and it goes back to like the breeding situation.
My sister has them, each has one, so.
Yeah, you can find any dog in any rescue, including a French Bulldog. But I want to play this little video because even myself as a trainer, and I'm always studying and learning, I used to say cane corso. Do you know how it's actually pronounced, Ceylon? How would you say it?
Cane Corso.
Yuki, what about you?
I have to say King Corso, but I've heard different.
You
just
have heard
recently.
different because just recently, an hour ago, I was listening to the video and I was like, okay, this is how you say it. This is it though.
Buongiorno, we are looking at how to pronounce the name of this dog of a large athletic breed of Mastiff developed in Italy. The name itself comes from Italian. The word cane, meaning dog in Italian, and corso relates to the Latin word for guardian. Understand? Guardian dog. How do you go about pronouncing it? In Italian, this would be said as cane corso. Cane corso. However, in English, this is usually pronounced as cane corso. Cane corso dog breed.
Okay, so we
I mean, I can see how that's done if it's Italian.
Italian, so cane corso, and they're like you said, gentle giants, but also very loyal, very
low
loyal.
maintenance, very big. Yeah, they are very loyal. They're
They're
very
family dogs.
intimidating. Yeah, they're very intimidating looking
Yes.
dog. If you wanted a guard dog,
Yeah.
they're very low energy. They don't need a lot of things. Like my niece used to have my dog that I inherited. Well, I took over.
Was it a cane corso?
Well, Rocky was a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
She had that, and she had one, and I was like, you need to get a buddy for him. They're working it out. She didn't, and he kept running away, and we took him. And now she has 2 King Corso puppies, and she's obviously madly in love because these dogs are so.
Cane corso.
Corso.
Cane
You know, I mean,
corso puppies.
I love all dogs. I don't have a breed, a specific.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, and Yuki, like, but Ceylon, you go, and then Yuki, like, what is your favorite breed?
Rottweilers.
I know you said that before. You said it. You're
I used to have a
right.
whole family of Rotties. I
Mhm.
mean, yeah.
Actually, I've been following on YouTube this new breed called the Great Pyrenees.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
used for sheep, herding sheep
They're huge
and
too.
warding off wolves and coyotes.
They're
huge.
amazing, though. They're great
Beautiful
dogs,
dogs.
gentle dogs. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I've seen
very
them
gentle.
guard against the coyotes and wolves, and they'll just kick ass on all those animals.
They're huge.
But
they're
they're very
massive.
protective of their sheep and chickens and other animals.
You're gonna
It's just
add the chicken to
amazing.
the.
You can see it in their eyes when they see something happening. They just run up and rush towards the opponent and just engage with them. And it's just so amazing.
But those are amazing dogs.
Yes.
A friend of mine, she has 2 of them, and I
Pure
think Great Pyrenees.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, pure. They're pure.
Mine
And
are
somebody
big.
dumped
My
them
friend-
on the freeway. They let them out of their car and dumped them, and a woman who actually was a rescuer saw it happen. It was right on the 405, not too far from here, and then captured the dogs. And then my friend adopted one, and she already had a female, and the male that she got that was dumped, they had to do quite a bit of like training and rehabilitation. I mean,
I'm
he
sure
was
he's
definitely traumatized.
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
So yours is Roddy.
Mine's is Roddy. I would
Okay.
say.
And Yuki, what is your favorite?
I don't really have a favorite because all dogs are great.
I'm
It just
gonna
depends
say
on your.
Chihuahuas for you.
It depends on your.
All dogs go
Yeah,
to
yeah.
heaven.
I'm gonna say Chihuahua right
Exactly.
here.
This is
one
my
right
heart
here.
right here.
That's a
Angel.
Chihuahua.
Angel is his
She is
favorite dog.
always looking for me, no matter where I am.
When Yuki goes anywhere, Angel's like sitting at the gate, sitting at the door. Where's my dad? Where's my dad?
She
Just
is
like
my
an angel.
heart,
That's
yeah.
right.
But I love my mixed. What is she?
Molly.
Molly. I love Molly because she reminds me of a Rot or a Shepherd. And
Shepherd.
Bailey reminds me of a retriever quote.
Lab.
Yeah, she does have some
And
love.
she's very
in her, for
protective,
sure.
very protective.
Oh yeah.
I'll
that
just,
is
I'll
for
just
sure.
look at her and I'll just see her tail start to wag.
I mean, I told you before you wanted to adopt her that she had already adopted you. I was like, she's not going nowhere.
Well, I
Remember
told.
we did the adoption event? I was like, she already adopted you. She's not going.
And you know what? I just found pictures. I'll have to send them to you when we met you at that. It was a brewery, I think.
Yeah.
And we had our Earth Angel shirts on, and then we had Ace and Bailey because we were trying to get them
Yes.
adopted together.
And I just looked at him. I was like, she's your dog.
Yeah.
She'll be very hard to adopt out because she is very protective.
And
Very.
then any dog that resource guards somebody, they already thought that person is their owner. That's why they research guard. That's why with Ellie, when you asked me, I said, as much as I love her, I wasn't the house for her. I wasn't the home for her. She was too timid. And I couldn't even bring my goddaughter around because she would get jealous. And then my goddaughter would get jealous. And it was just like, that's my auntie, that's my mommy. I was like, oh my Lord, I can't do it too.
And that's an insecurity in a dog,
So I was just like, we're not the home for her. You know when you're the home for a dog and you're not.
My favorite breed. Does anybody know what my favorite breed is?
I would say Chihuahua too. Well, you know what I do?
It's the pitties.
I would say Chihuahua pity for you too.
I mean, for me, the reason I have so many small dogs is because when I first, when I moved here to LA, I've been a makeup artist for 26 years.
I know. When I met you, you were just coming out of the makeup artist.
Yeah, and so when I started volunteering with Lovejoy and I started fostering, I just fostered the dogs that she had available.
And they were smaller dogs?
Smaller dogs, and at one point I had a pack of 10. But my rescue that I started with my sister, Earth Angels Rescue, we have saved every breed, every age, every size, everything. Street dogs, dogs out of, every shelter. I mean, Yuki, you've been with me. We pulled a ton of dogs. Ceylon, you and I've done a lot of great work together. But honestly, my favorite breed is the Staffordshire Terrier. Slang is pit bull, because to me they are such a misunderstood breed. And when I volunteered at the Carson Shelter, I spent 5 years there and I had no fear. I mean, when I say I had no fear, they gave me those keys, which means you can access any kennel, and I would always go into the kennels of the larger, more dominant breed dogs, the pit bulls, because I knew that they had the least chance of getting seen, getting out, getting socialized, getting a walk, getting into the play yard.
And the sad thing is, you volunteer at Carson but predominantly pitties.
Well, it's pitties, but you know what? It's interesting because it is everything. Huskies.
I've been there for a while, so.
Well, every time I go, I mean, Yuki and I were just there, and why I'm pushing Honey so much is because when you see a dog being surrendered at a shelter, which we've talked about, but it absolutely breaks your heart, because that dog, first of all, doesn't know what's even happening because they're standing outside with their family. And then all of a sudden they're taken back and
their whole world changes.
Their whole world changes. But you can find any dog in our shelters now. You can find anything.
Any breed.
Any breed. But the pits for me, because they are so misunderstood, and anytime you see something on TV, it's about a pit bull. I actually reached out to a rescue. I'll keep it very... But I sent them Honey, and I just said, hey, I'm not asking you to take this dog, but if you know anybody that could, because word of mouth is everything in rescue, you know what I mean?
And
she came back and she just went off on the breed, and and it just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, because I was like, there are no bad dogs. Yes, there are things that happen with dogs.
I agree with you. It's not a bad breed. It's how the dog is raised. So it's a bad owner, a bad breeder, a bad whatever it is that originated.
And so that's why I fight for them so much, because I really do feel like people have such a misconception. And when I have clients that have that breed, I'm on them harder than any other client that I have, because I'm like, you have to change the stigma in our society of what people think of this dog. I want somebody to see your beautiful pitty and say, oh my gosh, that is the most amazing dog. I had no idea. And they feel like they can go up to that dog. They can pet that dog. It's really like something that I'm so passionate about.
Especially if you take a troublesome dog from the shelter, because you never know their history.
That's right.
And to renovate Gio is one of those dogs. He was a waiver dog.
Right.
The hardest, because he's kind of like Honey, because Honey's probably considered a waiver dog, isn't she?
My rescue could pull her. She doesn't require a waiver. It's called known history of aggression.
Okay.
So it's
so she's way better than Gio. Gio was a waiver dog.
Yeah.
That's even worse. So he needed to be the only pet, the only dog. Even when we did adoption event, he had to be the only dog.
Yeah.
Cannot be home with a kid. Cannot be home with other pets. Cannot be home with a lot of things. So even if we spend a lot of money training these dogs, rehabilitating these dogs, but the underlining of everything crap when Gio got, I guess, resubmitted into the shelter system, he wasn't labeled a waiver dog.
Yeah, I remember you saying that when you were here last time. That's right.
Yeah.
And we are going to get into the topic of insurance, but just even talking about like your favorite breeds, like there's always things with dogs that come up, always. I mean, there's not one perfect breed, there's not one perfect dog. And unfortunately, our shelters have a tendency to label dogs a certain way, but there's so many dogs that go into our shelter systems, that it's just like they just kind of, I think,
I mean, it's
put them in boxes without necessarily
It's
understanding why
I
they
agree
act the
with
way
you.
that they act.
that and the fact that seeing Gio when he was in the shelter and seeing Gio where he is now.
Yuki's calling a cab. Right, so on the topic of pet insurance, and I did pull this up, what is dog insurance? I mean, if anybody wants to just kind of throw it out there, but I did pull out like a definition.
Dog insurance. I can briefly explain it to what I believe dog insurance. Dog insurance is pet insurance. It could be cats or dogs or whatever. Most insurance only cover pets or cats and dogs. Some insurance cover reptiles, but I haven't found one that I know cover reptiles. But pet insurance are like insurance for your pets, and like there's different types of pet insurance. There's the, I could say like the Vetco and whatever insurance, whatever, we just do Petco.
Sure.
Which is, my friend has them. They're the vaccination, puppy training, stuff like that, right? It covers all the vaccination rounds and stuff like that. You pay monthly for it, and it'll cover certain things. And then there's pet insurance through your job, which covers certain things, could cover maintenance. I consider maintenance as if like vaccination.
Right.
Most places will not cover spay and neuter. Some insurance will cover dental, because those are maintenance things, right? And then other insurance will cover everything else, which might include everything or might not include some of those things, but it'll include like cancer, will include like anything else, like I guess like degeneration, myopathy, like Rocky. They cover certain thing like dysplasia, could be hip dysplasia.
Right.
Hip dysplasia is a sensitive topic for insurance for me because I had to experience firsthand. Some insurance cover it, some insurance don't cover it, some insurance need an extra rider insurance to cover it, what and what not.
Wow.
Yes.
And that's it for our podcast. I just wrapped it up. You're a wealth of knowledge. I will just read. It says the type of health insurance policy that helps cover the cost of unexpected veterinary care for your pet, offering financial protection against potential accidents or illnesses. But what you just said is amazing. I mean, that's exactly what it is. So let's talk about it. And Yuki, if you don't mind, because I know you've done quite a bit of research, can you tell us just about maybe the top 3 brands of health insurance?
Sure.
Or not health insurance, I'm sorry.
Well, dog insurance.
My best friend keeps calling me and I feel like something might be wrong because she keeps saying call me. She's called me twice. I'm so sorry.
Answer what part?
No, her best friend keeps calling me.
Oh.
Hey honey, I'm in the
Okay,
middle of
sure.
filming a podcast. Are you okay? Can I call you after? If you're not okay, I will call you.
No problem. No problem.
Go, take a minute.
Yeah.
Or 10.
Sorry guys. Hey honey, what happened?
Freaking pit,
Alright guys, well we took a little break and that's kind
Oh
of
my
what happens sometimes in life. You have to take a little break. Things come up, things happen. My very best friend called me. She is my ride or die. I've known Allie since she was, well, since we were 15 years old. Anyway, she lives in Texas and she let me know that her dog Daisy, they have 2 dogs, Fred and Daisy, and they live out in the country, and this is kind of a good example of what happens in places where people just dump their dogs. So they found this dog Daisy, she's a bulldog, and they took her in. They've had her for, I want to say 5 years now, but she was definitely used for breeding. And they never spayed her because we didn't really talk about like the French Bulldog, but the way that their face is designed, it's hard for them to breathe sometimes, like to get airflow, things like that. And so their dog Daisy, you know, because she was older, the vet was like, definitely don't spay her, which I understand. Anyway, she'd had some health issues just really over the past month, but nothing was clarified in terms of what was going on with her. So they had some medication for her, and she seemed to be doing great. And my friend Allie just got home she's a school teacher, and she got home and was getting the food ready to feed both the dogs. And she said every time Daisy hears the food, you know, the bag's opening and the food getting prepared, she's super excited. And she said she didn't get up. Allie just thought she was sleeping. And so she went to her bed, and she said she put her hand on her and she was cold and she had passed away. So we love our dogs very much. Our dogs are our family.
True.
And the thing about it is too, and I love Daisy and I love Fred, and my friend Allie is everything to me. And you know, the thing about it is it's like we take these dogs in that have been discarded and abused and neglected and bred. And I don't know, you know, so many people just don't care, but like I know the three of us on this couch care. My friend Allie cares, and it's like you take them in, and that's what I said to my friend Allie. I said, Allie, I said, the life that you guys gave her was more than anything she could have ever had. I mean, imagine somebody else getting a hold of her, not spayed. They could have bred her more. She could have died out. You know, like people dump dogs all the time in parks and the wilderness and on the side of freeways. I mean, it's just like, it's never ending. And I said, you guys gave her the very best life she could have ever had, and she died in her own bed, in her own home.
And she knew what love is.
She knew what love is. And now I believe she's in heaven. And Allie said, because their first dog, Meatloaf, was like the love of Allie's life, and he was also a bulldog. And she's like, and now Daisy gets to meet Meatloaf. And I said, and so many others that we've let go of. You know, so that kind of love is real. Some people understand it, some people don't. Like I said, the three of us do. But to come home and find, you know, a part of your family that has left you is very, very, very difficult. So thank you for letting me take that break and letting me share the story with you. And I know my friend Allie will be grateful that you guys heard about her beautiful Daisy. And that's what we do when we're in rescue and we're fosters. And we have this type of podcast. We fight for dogs. We take them in, we love them, we do the best we can for them, and then we sometimes, you know, they go on to different homes, and that's okay, but we don't turn, that's the biggest thing, we don't turn a blind eye to the need, especially when it's right in front of us, and I think it's very important. So, anyway, thank you guys so much. Yuki, how you doing down there?
I'm doing fine.
Yeah, you know what it is to lose, or the heartbreak, yeah.
Sure.
We all do, you know, to lose somebody that you love so much. And
I think it makes you a better human being to go through that, though, because of the teaching, learning process.
yeah,
And people that do have dogs and they pass away, I like to say that the dog that passed away just made room for another dog to come and enter your life and make it even better, enrich it even more.
yeah,
And that's why we need more fosters in this.
yeah, thank you. And the three of us here have definitely taken in a lot of dogs, but yes. So let's go ahead and get back to the subject at hand, which is pet insurance. And Ceylon, you were talking a lot about pet insurance, and I just pulled up the definition of what it is. So, and Yuki, you were also talking about like the top three.
Well, insurance, there's like three different things that you have to get to know about. One is annual, medium, or maximum coverage. How much are you paying for what the insurance company will pay up to for the year as far as the medical? There's a span between $5,000 and $10,000 that most insurance companies will cover for the year. Some have unlimited, but that affects your premium that you pay every month. Also, we're talking about what is the deductible. Let's say you have a $5,000 bill. how much of that is deductible? Meaning you have to pay out of your pocket maybe $500 or even $1,000 to meet your deductible, so the insurance company will pay the rest. And the companies won't pay 100% of your bill.
You can make it 100% on certain things.
Yes, but you'll pay extra premium.
Yeah, extra
up
premium.
the nose.
And it depends on the breed.
Yes.
So you can make it if the insurance allowed that breed to be at 100, but your premium is higher.
Yes.
Yes.
It's called the reimbursement level. The higher your reimbursement level, the more premium you'll usually end up paying. So, a lot depends on what you have as far as your finances to afford insurance for a pet. And so you really have to search and look at all the companies that offer insurance, what their pros and cons are. All companies have a red flag, where meaning there's certain things they don't cover, or they're more expensive in certain coverage. So you have to really research a lot. It's very complicated. Thank God the internet is there for you to help.
You know what's funny is I researched the pet insurance too, and I see your list, and my insurance is not on there at all.
So I'm going to ask you what insurance you have and how you found that insurance and what you pay, like in a general ballpark. But I reached out to a friend of mine yesterday. She got back to me today. She works at one of our local emergency vets. And she said Spot Insurance was the best insurance. And for where she works, she said they are the most reliable. Like when people come in and they want to file a claim, their dog is having them, which I had never heard.
When you say file a claim, is Spot paying them up front?
Well, I didn't ask her that, which is a good question, because when I had insurance, like about 10 years ago when I had 10 dogs, and I was paying insurance on every single one of my dogs. Now at that time, they were all fairly young. Insurance I thought was pretty reasonable. I think I was paying like $24 maybe per dog, which I don't think is that big of a deal, but I didn't utilize my insurance that much, so I wound up dropping it, and then I wound up just kind of setting money aside, like for Buddy. I mean, I don't like to, I'll just pay stuff off right away, so I had money aside for my dogs, but I just thought, well, you know what, like, I'm just really not using it. It's 10 dogs. But she just said that the Spot Insurance was the one that she found was the most reliable, and she did say that she also had utilized companion insurance, which she didn't find as, useful. But like I said, I haven't had insurance in years. So, if you have insurance right now, which I know you do, and I know our listeners would love to know, like, what do you have? Why did you get it? What does it cover? Because it's important. And I will say this, and then I'm going to let you just take it. So when you get a dog that's young, you get a puppy, or you get a dog that's 6 months old, less than a year, get insurance right away, because you have no pre-existing conditions, right? It's the pre-existing conditions with dogs.
There's a way to go around it.
Okay, so this is where Ceylon comes in, and then when we have to go and edit this, it's going to be a lot of beeps, but that's okay. Ceylon, take it away. What insurance do you have?
I now have Healthy Paws for all my cats.
And that's not on there, you're right.
No, I have for all my cats and dogs. I started with Trupanion.
Okay.
I got into pet insurance because my sister, well, I guess us, I don't know how to explain it. We went to the swamp meet on New Year's Eve. There was a pity there that they were trying to sling and sell. Supposedly my sister and her husband, or fiance, boyfriend, whatever the heck it was back then.
Well, did they ever get married?
They're married now. They fell in love with her, and they bought her from the guy at the swamp meet.
Swamp meet?
Yeah, at a swamp meet. It was literally like San Gabriel swamp meet or something like that. Because we usually go dim sum on Chinese New Year. I'm Chinese, I don't look like it. And off topic.
Okay, right in. What
Exactly,
ethnicity
right?
do you think Ceylon?
So we went Chinese New Year and we had a wait list, and we were like, oh, let's just walk to swamp meet. And my sister found Xena. Oh, we found Xena. She bought Xena from this guy. They were in love. They have this thing, and
How old was the
She was
puppy?
a puppy. She was like
8
maybe
weeks
2
or-
months, 3 months.
Okay,
two
too
and
young.
3
Young,
months.
young.
She was very young, very cute. They have a thing with puppy syndrome, and I say puppy syndrome because you know exactly what I mean.
I do know what you
Okay.
mean. Oh, puppies are so
Okay,
cute.
so-
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure she'll never see your podcast. If she does, she'll probably think I'm a bitch.
No, we love you,
but,
and thanks
know.
for saving her. No, seriously.
No, so
they paid for her.
she paid for her and whatnot, and lived with them for a bit, puppy syndrome. You know, she got big, didn't listen, whatever. Dropped it off at my
That's
mom.
why you need a professional dog trainer.
Drop it off at my mom, which I live with my mom. And Xena became one of the 3 dogs that they got, supposedly, and it became the family dog, right? I inherited 3 family dogs. Xena's one of them. So we were taking, and I've always paid for Xena's vaccination and stuff like that. We took him to Golden State Humane.
Oh
in
yeah,
Long Beach.
to get spayed.
To get vaccinated.
Okay.
And then you know, there's like a long wait list, right, for like, you know, vaccine that's within reasonable pricing, right? Back then I didn't know too much about dogs. And I'm looking at her, and she has this like extra long tongue, and she has a slit this way. It's like almost half gone, like cut. And I was like, I sent my sister the picture of the dog, right? Because the dog lived with her. And I was like, hey, Xena has a slit on her tongue. Did you notice she had this slit? And she's like, no. And I was like, she lives with you, right? So I was like, okay. So I asked the vet there. You know, they're very minimal because they don't really go into details.
Yeah.
They do spay and neuter. They do certain.
And Golden State Humane Society.
And I love them. I do love them.
If you need to like,
Yes.
it's like a turn and burn spay.
It's
and
not.
neuter
It's not
place.
like dog
But
blood.
no, but I mean the thing
There's
is like
certain-
if you
yeah.
need low cost, they
do it.
They'll do it.
But they're
That's right.
very minimal on certain things.
Of
and
course
they
they
couldn't,
are because they can't do
couldn't
it.
tell me like whatever. So I also had I used to go to Garden Grove Dogs and Cat Hospital, and I have a really good relationship with I guess one of the owners there. So I took Xena in, and I one of the vets there and we're good friends now. I love her to death, Dr. Court. Hopefully she's listening one day in these days. So I told Dr. Court about Xena, and she was like, oh, you know, like it looks like she has a face fracture. I was like, what? She's like, she has a face fracture. I said, what do you mean she has a face fracture?
So you had no
said 6
insurance
months.
at this time.
I had no insurance of her
You've
at
got
this
a
time.
Golden State Humane Society for the
Yeah,
vaccines.
so I take her
Okay.
back to my vet because my sister said she had no idea. This is her dog, but now the dog is living with us. And I was like, okay, well, she's living with us. She's technically my dog, right? So I took her to my vet, and my vet does an examination, and he goes, she has a face fracture. Looks like she got hit head on with something really, really hard. Her face is fractured, and somewhere along the line, she traumatized herself, and she's probably bit on her own freaking tongue and slit it. And I was like, what? And then I said, so what do I do for him? He goes, unless you want to fracture her face, put her in a cast, and try to fix that. There's really nothing you can do
You
for
just
her.
let the bones like grow back together. the
So
way
I
you're
was
gonna
all
do it.
like,
Yeah.
what the F?
Yeah.
Right? So I said, so moving forward, what do you advise? And my vet was like, I advise you getting her, because she doesn't have a normal tongue. She has an extra, like when she stick out her tongue, it was down here. He was like,
She has a Gene Simmons
Yeah,
from
tongue.
Kiss tongue.
exactly. So she was like, I advise you getting pet insurance for her because she might end up having we might have to partially amputate her tongue later on because she might have some nerve damage from this. We don't know, right?
So let me stop you there and let me ask you a question. So at this stage of the game, she's how old?
Probably like a year or something, a little year or something.
Okay. And so they still recommended at that point.
My vet. My
with
vet,
what
that's my
they
friend,
knew
yeah.
what had happened to her physically, that you
Mhm.
could still acquire pet insurance for her.
And yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, and this is, and I have really great relationship with my vets
Yeah.
and really great relationship with anybody that I stay loyal to and is loyal to me. So I said, so if I get pet insurance in her, is this considered a pre-existing condition? Right? Because now we're already talking about it. And she said, no, I'm not going to note it in
And
her
you can
account.
physically see it on the x-rays, you can see
Yeah,
it on the
she didn't do
tongue.
x-rays. She said, I could tell you
Oh,
she has a
okay,
face
just
fracture.
in her face, okay.
And she said, we're not going to need to do x-ray. I could tell you. And I was like, okay. And I said, so with insurance, is this a pre-existing condition? She said, no, because I'm not noting it. So I was like, okay, what insurance do you advise? So she advised me to have Trupanion, which I got that same day. With that being said, I think maybe less than 6 months into Xena's insurance. So the reason why I got Xena insurance, and the only dog I've ever got insurance for at that time was my red-nosed Pitty, she's a red-nose, for her face fracture and a tongue slip. So 6 months or less, I came home one day and my mom was like, Xena is crying and she's not putting weight on one of her legs. And I was like, what the F? So I went and she was crying, she wasn't putting weight on her leg. So I took her to the vet. My vet was like, it looked like she tore it. We did x-ray, we did blood work, we did all this stuff that you needed to the necessity. That I always feel like blood work and X-ray is always the necessity of anything underlying issue when you bring your dog. If it looks like a broken bone or something like that, right? So we did that, and she said it looks like she tore her ACL. You need to see a orthopedic surgeon.
Like major surgery.
Yeah,
it's like
right.
10 grand. Yeah.
Well, it was 5,000 back then.
Yeah.
It is 10 grand now. Yes.
For sure. Yuki, I'm just checking in on you.
Oh, I'm here.
He's good with Jesse. So
I'm
like.
a good listener.
I know you are.
So my vet was all like, we don't do like orthopedic ACL surgery. You're gonna need to see a specialist. So she referred, and then she goes, "Do you have one?" And I did. I did have Dr. Gasco because I took my shepherd when he had his muscle shredding issue. So I contacted Dr. Gasco, and we sent her there. He did, the X-ray, whatever, went over with her, and then he told me, like, he's like, "Oh, is it an emergency? Like, do you need me to come in now and do it, or can we do it the next, like, tomorrow when he's on schedule, right?" Because it was late at night, and I said that we can do it tomorrow. Like, I can bring her back home or bring her back to you. It's not an emergency. Like, I can keep her comfortable, right? That's a drama in itself with her ACL. My sister, her husband, drama people.
But you had already gotten that insurance, so she was covered.
She was covered through me.
And then her tearing her ACL was not pre-existing.
It wasn't pre-existing.
Did they cover the surgery?
They covered the surgery. We'll skip the drama. They covered the surgery 100%. Well, not 100%. So my deductible with Xena was.
So let me ask you. Yeah. So this is a
my
question
deductible
too.
with Xena was my deductible was $250 annually.
Okay, so
with
you pay
Trupanion.
$250. Okay. No
Annual.
matter what, you're just paying.
No. Trupanion is per condition, not annually. So that means if
So you have to pay a $250 deductible if you.
But if that insurance if that condition rolled over to the next year, I already met
your deductible. That's
okay.
right. Because
so
that
Trupanion was different.
pre-existing.
Trupanion was $250 per condition.
Okay.
So I hit my deductible. Her insurance back then, I did it 90/10. I don't recall what I paid at the time, but let's just say roughly $50 or something. Okay, $50 a month. I'm just gonna throw it a ballpark frame. So when he told me, I think at that time, this is give and take 10-15 years ago, between there, he told me the ACL surgery was like under 5,000, like right under 5,000, right? For one. But with any ACL, you do one, you do the other.
That's right.
Yeah.
Inevitably, you do.
Supposedly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There was certain condition which my shepherd qualified, but with his old age, it came back around. But I opt out of it with his old age.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't going to put him under. At 12 and his max of his life, I was not going to put him under.
So let me just ask you for clarity for everybody that's listening. So for Xena, she had the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Did you pay, and I'm sorry if I missed this, did you pay out of pocket initially and they
We pay out of
reimbursed?
pocket. So with any new claims, for most insurance that I am aware of, with anybody else that I talk to, you pay upfront, right? You pay. There is insurance where you can pre-qualify for it first, but it takes longer to be qualified, and then your dog just sits in pain and wait. Xena tore her ACL completely.
Yeah.
So I paid for it upfront, 4,000 something, say roughly 5,000, plus whatever additional I paid at RET, right? We paid that upfront. Any insurance, your first claim should be resolved within 30 days.
Yes, that's right.
So by the time you put on a credit card, if you put on anything, before that statement came around, it had already been resolved.
The money should have been.
So money should have resolved. We had a 90/10, which was 90% that the insurance paid, and we paid 10 after our deductible meet. My insurance did not cover consultation fees. I believe consultation fee was $200 back then. Some consultation fee is $400 now.
Yeah.
There doesn't cover the consultation fee, biohazard fee, doesn't cover vet visit, doesn't cover spay and neuter, doesn't cover dental. Those are what my insurance supposedly didn't cover. So with that good experience I had with Xena, I decided to cover the rest of my 10 animals. 10. And it's a lot.
But you know, you did have, like, I'm surprised in a way that your vet said go ahead and get her insurance knowing that she already had certain things that had happened to her, because
there's ways of going around with pre-existing condition.
And Yuki, I know I just want to interject, Yuki, if you could, because I know you've done some research on some of this, like, with the pre-existing conditions, and then you were also saying, because Lemonade, I think, is one of the newer insurance
And I
companies.
heard good things about it.
It's number one, I believe, and I'm
I
not
heard
sure
good
if
things
it's
about it.
Southern.
I'm just not going to change my insurance because now my dogs have pre-existing.
And you wouldn't change it
Yeah.
at this point. And like I said, when I had insurance, like my insurance, I felt there was a security that I had knowing that I had insurance. And when my Blanco got cancer, I had already dropped my insurance. And I asked my vet, I said, if I had insurance for him, would radiation and chemotherapy be covered? And they said yes. But I also felt good because I knew at his age, Blanco is Buttercup's brother. And I knew that at his age, I would never put him through
Quality of life.
just quality of life, like we talked about at the very beginning. So I was like, okay, but it was such a, I was like, okay.
To know that you had that option.
To know that I had it. So, and I tell my clients and people, when you adopt young dogs, what is $25 a month? It's really nothing. I mean, that's like Yuki, you're going to talk about, I think, like there are different, it's like car insurance or house insurance, or there's so many different types of insurance, but to have.
It's better to enroll them at a younger age to get the best.
Yeah.
You get the lowest.
Yeah, there's nothing going on with them.
annually.
They don't know that they have cancer when they're 6 months old. They don't know. It's like my Blanco had
Yeah,
when
with
he was
age
13.
and with it's all So insurance is based on, and they say this all the time. Every insurance I've had, because I've had 2 Granny and I have 2 paws.
Yeah.
They said it is based, but they do a survey annually of demographic, like what dog is in your region, and what do they pay out the most for what procedure, for what dog, for what breed, for what this, for what that, and that's where they branched off and tell you if your annual, because they lock you in as an annual rate. You'll stay at that annual rate monthly for a year. The next year it can go a little higher. I've never really seen it lower.
Yeah,
I've seen
it's
it
not gonna go
slightly.
lower. Yeah.
I've seen it slightly higher, and I've seen it dramatically higher. Like when I say dramatically higher, when I said I went ahead and got pet insurance for all my dogs and cat, but my cat with his pre-existing condition, because he was born with a heart murmur.
Yeah.
And I had already cleared out so much of his, and I adopted him at 9.5. He was a senior. He had like a large bladder, UTI, all these things. And when I adopted him, a week later, he had all these urine in his blood, all these things. We paid out of pocket already for him to do like the plate where they do his bacteria, like kind of like a scope thingy. I don't know what it's called, but they had all these pocket for everything. And the one thing that I was really concerned of was his EKG, his heart murmur, and they said they would never cover it because he was born with it, right? So all my dogs were covered through pet insurance. My cat wasn't, because the one thing that I was worried about was not covered because of pre-existing condition.
Sure.
And I had already cleared out his UTI and everything else that he had issue of, where his original adopter for half of his life, because we both shared him for half. He was with them for 9.5 years. He was with me for 9.5 years, and he died 2 months shy of 20.
Wow.
So yeah,
Long
20
life.
years. He lived a long life. I thought he was gonna die in 2 years, so I was like, I'll take him in. No problem. I'll live on my dog.
A cat with him with 9 lives. Yuki,
Yes.
go ahead, Yuki.
Okay.
Impart some of your wisdom on us.
I would say for sure, just like car insurance, even your own health insurance, there are so many insurance companies, and they all have their little perks, let's say. And so there was a list that I found that they considered Lemonade to be their top pick.
Okay.
Then came MetLife, because most covered treatments. Then ASPCA pet health insurance, best for senior pets.
ASPCA is best for senior?
Yes, that's what they say. And I think that's important, because a lot of pets, when they get older, they do have a lot more medical issues. And when the owners can't afford that, that's where the pets end up into the shelter.
Is there a cap at SPCA pet insurance for senior?
I don't know. You'd have to look that up.
I used to be a big fan of SPCA, like big fan of them, support them annually, whatever. I don't know, you volunteer, so I don't really hear great things about them as a rescue and as an organization for animals
Yeah.
when you surrender. So I do not. It also has give me a biased opinion of their pet insurance.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I don't know. I mean, Yuki has done some research, and I think,
You would have to, look
yeah,
it
okay.
up yourself.
Okay.
and
The
see if
one
it
thing that
fits.
I was grateful for hearing that, and I think you said like one more company, because I think the most challenging thing is getting pet insurance for seniors.
Yes.
And so if the ASPCA will offer pet insurance now again, and let me just like this is a disclaimer.
Excuse me.
We're not we're not saying this pet insurance is better than that. We're not saying
No,
even
Because
though
it's every pet insurance is
it's different.
targeted. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
targeted to what's best and what's affordable to you.
That's exactly right, and what your needs are. And like
Yeah.
you're saying, if the ASPCA does insurance for seniors,
Yes.
and
then
it's-
the others that will come
right,
on this
and then you
list.
have to determine, okay, well, what is the cost of that? But I think to understand that even if you're paying, say you find an insurance company for pets that is willing to cover seniors, and say you're paying, I don't know, $50 a month or maybe more. We talked about though with the French Bulldogs, I don't think we actually talked
No,
about how much.
Bulldogs is gonna be way over close to 100.
Well, that's what Yuki found a quote that was like close to 100. I found
Yeah,
a
I
quote
have
that was
friends that
like
has-
70.
Yeah, that's at a young age, right?
Right, that's at a young age. But if you can find pet insurance for a senior that's reasonable, because like we talked about with my friend Allie and losing her, and I've lost so many dogs, and you have, and Yuki, you have. It's a huge loss. It's not just a, oh, well, it's a grieving. We go through a grieving. So if there's a way that you can provide for your senior pet through insurance that meets your own financial, needs and requirements, I think it's definitely part of being a responsible pet owner to be able to provide, like, I just,
You have
like
to
I
think
said,
ahead, like when you have kids, they're your kids.
That's
right? Pets
right.
are your kids. So when you have kids, you think ahead for them. Most parents will do like some kind of savings, some kind of IRA,
Right.
some kind of whatever account
college
for their college fund.
fund.
Your dogs or your cat is not going to college.
I mean, did
Sadly
I
to
want
say-
to pay $600
Yeah,
for
sadly
Betty
to
last
say,
week? No,
they're not
but,
going to college.
But
But you think about them, like your kids are covered through your insurance. Sadly, your dogs are not covered through your
That's right.
But you know what? Certain jobs do offer pet insurance.
Yeah.
And
Yuki, I think you looked up that a little bit, and I'm sorry to interrupt you,
No,
Salon,
no, no,
but I think there was something that we discussed, or Yuki, you had found about working, and also I think the
Yes.
military.
Yes, there are discounts that some pet insurance companies will look at. One of them is if you're a military or veteran.
Uh-huh.
Another is you can get it through work. Another is if they're spayed and neutered.
there's a different rate with, with your animal
There's
being spayed.
there's these little
Yeah, with pet
specialties.
insurance. Yeah.
Going on my list, Embrace is best for multiple pets. Like
Right, okay.
I have lots of dogs, so that I might have to
But
look
we'll
at that.
never tell exactly
Yes.
how many.
And
It's a
Pets Best is our pick for vet direct pay. Meaning the vets will pay directly to you or whatever. And then Figo is the most affordable. Spot is best for customizable coverage. Fetch, best for comprehensive coverage. And Healthy Paws, most affordable, unlimited coverage.
That's what I have.
Yeah.
Yuki?
Yeah.
What does this mean when we can
Oh,
turn
yeah.
our glasses over?
That
I was
means-
trying to give Jessie my leftover, but she wasn't having it.
Getting my
That means that you are thirsty.
I was trying to give Jessie some, but she wasn't having it.
means we're thirsty. Just hearing you, Ceylon, speak, and Yuki about everything that y'all know about pet insurance and your own personal experiences and just doing research, there's a lot.
Yes.
There's a lot.
And
So
I
Max,
really-
I always say
It'll
find an
make- it'll make you go
insurance that doesn't have
cross-eyed.
and a lot of
Double
people
cross-eyed.
it's within your budget, right? Like we talked about budget, we talked about what you're willing to spend, we're talking about lifestyle.
Right.
I factor in if you're able to go out and I say this with
All
know,
the
blood.
love in your heart.
no, there's no love in my heart when I say this.
Okay.
I'm very blunt. If you can afford to get drunk and wasted and spend $200-300 at a bar tab a night,
Oh yeah.
that one night a month that you do it or whatever, you can spend $200-300 on your dog that 1 month that you felt like you needed to go get wasted.
Absolutely.
So I say this with no compassion to human, but all the compassion to these little guys. But you know what I mean? Like realistically, like cats and cats insurance are very, very affordable compared to dogs. Cat insurance, no matter where you sign up, no matter whatever it is, I've seen so many insurance from my fosters that they gave me through their jobs and whatnot. It's always about $20 a month.
Yeah.
No matter what the age is, unless if
For
they're
cats,
under 5,
yeah.
it's always around 20, 25 maximum. That's dogs, depending on breeds, depending on age, it varies, right? It varies. French Bulldog is the number 1 most expensive dog you can ever insure.
And I do want you to finish your story when we started the podcast about your shepherd and did he get the second round? But I just want to circle back real quick, and you're right. And we just did a podcast with Camille and Matt, who adopted Ace, a dog out of my rescue, and we talked about the things that you need to do in order to prepare to bring a dog into your home. And now that we're having this conversation about insurance, it's not something that we require as a rescue because we can't,
But it's a question you ask.
But what you said, it's like it's the responsibility piece. If you're going to go out and spend this amount of money doing this, but you're going to bring a dog into your home,
you have to factor in there.
You have to factor in. Yeah. Like did I want to spend $600 on Buddy to go to the vet? But the minute I saw him peeing blood, I was like, he has to go to the vet, and so I'm paying for that, and it comes out of my pocket because I have a responsibility for my dogs. Like he takes 3 medications a day. I mean, I'm buying those medications. That's coming. I mean, this is my itty bitty. I love him. I'm going to take care of him until the day that,
They're your
kids. So you have to,
yeah.
factoring in that responsibility piece. I love that you brought that up because it's true. Like, if you're going to spend money on this, but your dog is sick, and unfortunately, I'll just segue to this quickly. Not actually segue, but it's just another point I want to make. We have a lot of people that will bring their dogs to shelters or give their dogs up because they can't financially. When a dog gets sick,
I don't understand.
They don't want to put the money out. It's like,
that's the thing.
but it's like you said, it's a part of your family.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
Yeah,
This is a part of your family. No, all of a sudden it's like, okay, my sister's sick or my dad is sick or whoever. It's like, oh, we're gonna.
I'm gonna take you to the shelter and you get euthanized.
I'm just gonna
you're
dismiss
sick.
you. Yeah, you can't. People don't. It's integrity.
I'm gonna take my mom there when she gets sick. I can't afford that surgery.
Dad, you're gonna be in a kennel for about 6 months. You're gonna be fine. But that's the thing. Yeah.
My daughter, my youngest daughter, she's a veterinarian, and she brings up that subject where dogs will cost you money.
Lots of money.
They're not like free, or in certain parts of this country where you have hundreds of dogs from the litter, and when one dies or something, oh well, that's the way it goes. No, that's not how it goes. Each dog is
Nothing in
valuable
life
and
is free
separate.
though.
Nothing.
And when you do adopt a dog, you have to consider the costs involved in taking care of it. And that's just part of it.
And if you have a dog in your life, that dog is your responsibility. It's your family. It's not disposable. You have to be able to provide care for that dog, which is why we're talking about also the pet insurance piece, because if you can, in the onset of adopting a dog, immediately get dog insurance at whatever level that you can get, that will help you financially provide for that dog for the rest of its life. But again, dogs are not disposable. There's no dismissing a dog because they're sick. But pet insurance can definitely help you. It can help cushion the blow of some of the costs. And then again, I love what you said, Ceylon, and I know I keep kind of going backwards, but everything fits together cohesively. It's like quality of life. Also understanding, there are people out there that have a lot of money that will do everything that they can to ensure.
I think at one point I was that person.
Yeah,
we're all guilty of it until you know better, right?
But that's the thing. It's like now we
know
better.
Yeah.
It's like when when I can tell that my itty, if he's not able to get up and go on a walk, or he's not eating, or he's not his breathing is really labored. I don't want to prolong the suffering. I want to let him go, and it's like you said. You said it most eloquently. Quality of life, right?
Quantity of
But
life.
again, pet insurance is we have car insurance, we have homeowners insurance. If you rent an apartment, you can get insurance for your apartment. It's another extension of being a responsible human being. You're bringing a living, breathing, sentient being into your home that deserves the same amount of quality and care that you would actually hopefully provide for yourself. I have to go to the doctor. I have to get my teeth cleaned. I have to do this. I have mammograms, all these other things. It's that's a part of what we do to have integrity for ourselves.
Self-care.
And so we should have the same thing for our 4-legged family members. Like you said.
3-legged.
And three-legged. I've had three-legged.
I know.
One eye.
I have one idea.
I'm just wondering what other countries do to aid in pet
I don't know
owners'
actually. Do you know,
insurance
Ceylon?
bills.
I know, like in certain country, like pet care is free, like vaccination and stuff.
Okay. Do you know what countries
I
those
can't
are?
even tell you. I can't remember off the top of my head.
We're all moving to Thailand.
No, definitely not there.
No.
But you do have on your topic pet insurance through homeowner insurance. That is
Yes.
the topic I want to talk about.
Would you?
So
Could you?
your favorite breed is not covered. My favorite breed is not covered.
They're not.
Through a
That's
lot
right.
of homeowner
Huskies
insurance.
are not, Pitties are not, Rottweilers are not,
German
German Shepherds are
Shepherd,
not.
not.
That's right.
So with homeowner and pets, I feel like you got to do your research because even adopting out my pitty, Gio had a really great home. It wasn't covered through the homeowner insurance.
It's not. A lot of them are not.
He was a pit Labrador mix, and he's a service dog. I actually certified him.
Yeah. So you just say lab mix.
You know, they're like no, and I was like okay. So with that being said, I always say do your due diligence. I would hate to say drop your homeowner insurance, but I would drop my homeowner insurance to cover my dog. I'm sorry, I would. That's just me, but it's to each your own preference. But a lot of
Well, I think, I mean, this is something that we would have to bring in front of like our local legislator, whatever.
yeah,
But to be able to pay a certain
Farmer
amount
and
of money
Allstate.
to go on
covers
top of
it.
your home insurance, yeah. So
Yeah.
if you're like, I'm bringing this type of dog into my home and I will pay X amount of money on top of my homeowner's
But they
insurance.
won't even let you. Some insurers won't even let you pay
That's
that
what
X
I'm
amount of money.
saying. It's unfortunate because that also leads to a lot of dogs being surrendered and turned into our
So
shelters.
just not being able to find a home
That's
because
right.
you
They
limit
can't.
them.
That's exactly right. Apartment buildings, homeowners insurance. I think a lot of people, if you own your own home, you don't really care. As long as you like manage your dog in a way that you're making sure that that dog is safe in your home environment and nothing can happen outside of the home environment.
This is speaking from maybe out of context, but out of personal experience, not from me. One of our neighbors, say this with a passion, crazy lady that had her, I don't know, like kind of like shaggy looking dog. I don't know what he was.
Shih Tzu,
What's that little
Terrier?
something?
Pomeranian,
No. Something.
Pomsky.
No, not Pom. Some little shaggy dog mix. It was white. It
I
used
need
to
more
go
to go
around.
on. You and I would not
Yeah.
do well on Jeopardy together. Okay.
No,
well,
I can't
carry
remember
on.
little dogs, but it would go around. It would terrorize. Like she would walk in. It would like chase the bird, chase the cat, chase everything.
Well, that's
It
the
was
thing.
just
If you
terrorizing.
don't have home insurance and you have a
Yeah.
dog that's going to be
But
terror,
she
then no.
went to one of the neighbors down the street house. He had a Rottweiler, a German Rottweiler, and that's my sucker breed Rottweiler, but German Rottweiler specifically. And that dog chased out their cat. So the Rottweiler was not a fan of the dog. So the Rottweiler was trying to chase her dog away from the house. But she stepped in and supposedly the Rottweiler kind of nipped her. But she stepped in kind
That's
of
right.
thing, right?
That's right.
She was suing them through their homeowner.
That's right.
Because that's what people do. They sue you when your dog bites them through your homeowner insurance.
People will try to sue. They'll
That's
try to
where
go through your
pet insurance
homeowners
through your
insurance.
homeowners, yeah.
They'll try to go through your landlord. They'll try to go through whatever, which makes it very difficult. Even when I just got my insurance for my rescue, I mean, I think Yuki knows I've insured my board. My officers and board have a $2 million policy, and then I have another $2 million policy for my rescue. And I've got two different insurance companies because they're two completely different things. The $2 million for my rescue is for liability if something happens with one of my dogs, and my board is very different, but it becomes very confusing, very difficult, very overwhelming to try to like discern what even type of insurance you need. So just to kind of circle back and like what you were talking about, just be thoughtful. And and if you are renting a place like a home or an apartment, you have to talk to your landlord. Like you can't just bring a dog in that your landlord is vehemently opposed to. Like if they say you can absolutely not have that type of dog in your dwelling, then you have to rethink the type of dog that you want to bring in, which I think is an unfortunate thing because I think that's why so many of our dogs, again, there's so many reasons why dogs wind up in shelters, but that is probably one of the top 5. I moved to this place, they don't take pits, they don't take huskies, they don't take Rottweilers, they don't take German Shepherds, right? But you have to like talk about, okay, can I bring this dog in? And then being responsible, homeowners insurance. If my dog gets out and bites somebody else, is my insurance going to cover that? Do I have insurance for my dog in case my dog is bit by somebody, another dog, or my dog bites another dog? I mean, there's so many different factors. Yuki, what do you think?
I think every insurance company has to be checked out to see the red flags that they don't cover.
Do you have homeowners insurance for your dogs? Can I just ask?
I don't know.
Like insurance for the dogs in the home. You don't know? Okay.
I do.
You do, yeah.
Specifically because of the breed we had.
Yeah.
I had Shepherds and I had Pity Mix. So
Yeah.
I originally had Allstate, which covers them. Now we have, I forget what insurance I have now because I had to change it. Rider insurance is, some insurance cover it, which is hip dysplasia for bigger breed dogs. Some insurance is included, some insurance you need an extra insurance, which is considered rider insurance on top of it. I think they need to do better at explaining it and also like coming forward with it because I had Trupanion originally and my main concern was that and they said it was covered, but when my dog needed it, it wasn't covered.
Right.
So that's why we switched over to Healthy Paws because Healthy Paws covered it all in one and the max annually.
When I buy insurance for my dogs, I remember I paid the full bill, like initially, and then I got 80% back, which I thought was a pretty good deal. But what I thought was there was so much required previous history on my dogs that I couldn't necessarily provide because they were either off the streets or coming out of rescues that couldn't
So with my
necessarily.
insurance, it was just like a health checkup.
And you had said that previously, like if
a
they
health
just
checkup?
did an initial
Initial, like,
vet
health check.
exam, right?
Yeah, to make sure that there was no underlying issue, no like pre-existing when you enroll the dog, and it could be like a month to like 15 days after you enroll the dog, right? So my insurance, it was like I said, every insurance is different.
It's different. Right?
Yeah, so my
And
insurance,
you
I like
pointed
that.
on that, yeah.
Like Banfield, I use that. And it's not, quote, a regular type of insurance. It's more like a coverage where they'll cover certain things like shots, checkups, the common stuff. But if there is a bigger problem with cancer or something, you will have to pay more. The
That's
typical
coming out.
things that come up for dog.
Yeah.
And that's to like I said, not insurance policy, but it's more of a healthcare policy.
Yeah.
Where you'll get free checkups and stuff through the year.
Yeah, so Banfield, my friend has those. I never really felt like I needed that. I felt like, I guess it's within your budget, right? Like they were all gung ho that it covered vaccination and it was an annually fee. Right? To me, it's like.
But it doesn't go beyond, like you were saying.
Yeah, it was
doesn't
just
go-
literally
Limitation.
vaccination.
Yeah. But I think for me, like honestly, I think if I were to say anything about like pet insurance or anything, I think it's education. And unfortunately, like if you adopt a dog from a shelter, you may not be imparted the knowledge of, hey, you can get pet insurance for your dog, right? I think we have a due diligence in terms of being rescues and fosters and things like that to educate people and let them know that it's possible to get pet insurance.
I notified all my fosters.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and
Right.
again, communication and knowledge
To me,
without
yeah.
judgment is the most crucial thing
So
in the
I've
world.
seen a lot
today.
of like those insurance that are given through their jobs.
Yeah.
And they're usually maxed out at 5,000 or 10,000 annually.
Yeah.
So I've and it's the same, and it's sadly to say for cats, no matter what insurance it is, it's probably about 25 under $30 a month annually. Like no matter who I've seen it, like, and I foster more cats lately than I have dogs because I just feel like not what I feel, but what was needed because I take in emergency and I take in bottle feedings and it's always cat season,
Right.
cats.
Right.
So with that being said, insurance through their job has always been about the same deductible and the same monthly payment as like any other insurance that I've had. And there was always a max at like 5 or 10,000, which I always explained to her. If you got an X-ray, you got a blood work, you got an ultrasound, you're at already close to your
Oh, and
couple
over.
$1,000s,
And
right?
over,
Yeah.
For sure.
So I would say no to that insurance, and then I would give them my insurance or other insurance. Not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily have to be my insurance, right? Because my insurance doesn't have an annually max. There is whatever they cover. They don't cover certain, like I said, we talked about stem cell doesn't cover. Certain things, elective surgeries, they don't cover, but you can always discuss with them first and find out whatever about it. And to me is having that knowledge and knowing what your work covers, your work doesn't cover, and just setting aside knowing that being a responsible anything, adult, like responsible pet parents, responsible kid parents, whatever, right?
That's right.
You need to think first, like, oh, if I'm bringing a life into this world, regardless if that life is a cat, a dog, a reptile, a kid, you need to factor in that they're going to be part of your monthly and they're going to be part of your
Absolutely.
annually expense. Like if you factor in vacation for your kids, factor in like a dental cleaning for your damn kid, your damn pet. It's like it's the same shit.
It's the same.
Like it's literally the same shit. Like I don't
Let her rip, Ceylon.
you know, like I said, you know, we touching bases. My sisters all have Frenchies. One of my sisters, like Frenchies are known for bad teeth. Her dog had bad breath for years on end. I was like, it needs to get a dental.
But it probably can't because of the
No, it
Okay.
can't.
Okay.
She paid $7,000 for this moral Frenchie. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't believe in paying for animals. That's just me because there's so many that you can get a Frenchie from the damn
A
shelter.
rescue.
Yeah, you can get a moral Frenchie after
Go
it's
get a
overly
Frenchie
bred.
from a
Yes.
rescue.
So I don't believe in it. She had asked me because I do dental on my Chihuahua. Chihuahuas are known for bad teeth and bad eyesight. So I have a full breed deer Chihuahua. I have a mixed Chihuahua, Pomeranian, whatever. So with that being said, you have to factor in that you got this expensive dog. You need to know that these expensive breed comes with expensive costs, especially if you're getting a certain color bred into it. Like they're not normal Frenchie. There is something wrong with them. They're bred with freaking Chihuahuas to get this moral color. I don't know if you did the research, but I've done it.
Yeah.
So it's not a full Frenchie, so it's gonna have more health risk, health anything. You know, you gotta factor in that they're your kids. They are part of your life. Factor in their health, factor in their well-being, and factor in their lifestyle.
Yeah. I agree. So Yuki, if you want to like just put any fine points on having pet insurance, and I'll wrap us up.
No, just for facts, I'll just go through a list of what the average cost of certain breeds are.
Yeah.
And a Labrador Retriever is $62.
That's monthly, right?
Yes.
Yeah, monthly.
French Bulldog is $92.
Like you said, if not more.
Those expensive.
Chihuahua is the cheapest at $29.
Everybody go get a bunch of chihuahuas.
My damn Chihuahua.
American Pit Bull is $58.
Mm-hmm.
A Shih Tzu is $35. Golden Retriever is $61. German Shepherd is
Okay.
$57. A Golden Doodle is $44.
Okay.
Yorkshire Terrier is $35. And a Pit Bull is $59. So
Okay.
it kind of seems like it follows a certain size of the animal. Will depend on what the cost will be.
Did you say Shepherd, German Shepherd? How much that was?
Yes. German Shepherd is $57.
And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, if you go get like a coffee from your favorite coffee shop twice a week or 3 times a week, like that is the cost of pet insurance. So just to wrap it up, if you're going to get a dog, do your research on the type of dog you want, what their pre-existing
condition.
medical conditions might be, which Ceylon you've gone into, and just quickly, like in 30 seconds, did he get the second round?
He did. No, we didn't get the second
He didn't
round.
get the second round. Okay.
It
And how
wasn't-
much longer did he live?
I think when we talked about it, it was like close to the year mark.
Yeah, he lived in a year and a half, and then
He lived a year and 4 months.
okay.
I did ask his neurologist when I call it quit. What he said is when he cannot control his bowel movement.
And so how long after that was it?
A year and 4 months, he started
Okay.
not being able to control his bladder. And then I asked him what happens, and he goes, degenerative myopathy is not painful.
Right. So you did what you could with your insurance. You gave him the best life. Your insurance covered it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then your vet, and having a great relationship with your vet is really important as well, because your vet will, hopefully you have a vet that's honest with you and will say, hey, you know, your dog's quality of life is not worth this next round of whatever it is, you know, whether you have insurance or not. But again, just
It's your voice of reason.
Yeah, it's your voice of reason. And also knowing your pet and knowing when it's hard to say goodbye to them, but knowing them when they're trying to say goodbye to you and letting that transition happen beautifully. But getting insurance, if you're going to adopt a dog, I think it's very important. Like we've discussed, there are many brands out there of insurance. We've got Lemonade, we've got Companion, we've got Spot, which actually I think is our #1 right now in terms of what people have said about them. But factoring that into your monthly cost along with all of your other, you know, the things that you pay every month, but it's a family member that has to be provided for because medical things come up for our pets, our four-legged dogs. And if you can't pay out of pocket for that, to have insurance that would hopefully cover that is the most beneficial way of taking care of your dog, because they are deserving of that type of medical care as well. And I think it's just like just another layer of how we provide and love our dogs.
Yeah.
Ceylon, Yuki, any other parting words before we leave?
Love your dogs, love yourself,
Yes.
and the world will be a great place.
Yeah. And we love you guys, and we thank you for being a part of Digger Digger Doggos. We really do, and for listening to us and for subscribing. And if you have questions or anything that we can help you with, we're here for you. And you know, we don't do it perfectly, but we do it out of compassion and love. And the three of us here on this couch have had a lot of experience with different dogs and going through different challenges. And so the information that we give to you is from, you know, the knowledge that we've, you know, imparted on one another, the stuff that we've gone through on our own, our research that we've done, our own experiences with our own pets. But we want you to be able to love and care for your pets the way that we do at Triple D, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Digger
Yay.
Digger Doggos, everybody go get some pet insurance, right?
Yes.
Thank you for being here, Ceylon.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you
me.
so much.
Yay.
Woohoo!